For the Southeast, we wanted to present our community bridging project, which we titled Building a Bridge from K through 12 Friendships to a Lifetime of Opportunity. I wanted to give you permission as we start to stand up, sit down, whatever makes you happy. I know this is the last one, and we are between you and lunch, so feel free to move around. We, again, are from Old Colony Y. I am Sarah Selman.
And I am Darcy.
We'll take it away.
Awesome, thank you. So before we get going today on our project, we want to tell you a little bit about Old Colony. So Old Colony, our association, so we're one of the top 20 Ys in the United States in terms of size. We serve in 31 communities across Massachusetts, and in a typical year, we see anywhere between 140 and 150,000 individuals that take advantage of our services and our programs. So in addition to that, we are one of the largest human services providers in the Commonwealth. And with over 40 child care sites, we are the largest child care provider in our region. So as you take a look at this map with very tiny letters on it, we're so sorry about that. But what makes Old Colony so unique is the fact that we have social services embedded into everything that we do. So we have our family stabilization programs, we have 3 emergency shelters, we have a mentoring program, we have our mental health clinic, and that really doesn't even tap the surface of resources and programs that we have. But what I want to point out is the fact that this really puts us in a unique position to be able to help individuals reach their fullest potential despite life and financial circumstances, despite religion, race, income, and physical and mental abilities. So we want to thank you before we move forward just for this opportunity, because this grant and this project really aligns with our mission and everything that we strive to do at Old Colony. So a little bit about our project. So as I had mentioned, so we are the leading child care provider in Massachusetts. And because of that, we have really strong relationships with our school system. So our first goal was we wanted to build upon those relationships with the schools and with our direct support providers to identify friendship pairings between those that are neurodiverse and neurotypical through unified sports, things like recreational activities, clubs, anything that you can think of. And in doing so, give them a complimentary 3-month membership to help foster and develop those relationships. So we knew that in order to make that happen, we needed to train friendship facilitators. So friendship facilitators, those are the ones that are going to drive conversations between your participants, right? So if I'm a friendship facilitator, I'm saying, hey, Joey, I know you love soccer. Did you know that Billy over here loves soccer too? What's your favorite part about soccer? What are your favorite teams, right? And in doing so, help expand their social networks and through those shared interests, right? So then taking it a step further and saying, hey, Joey and Billy, you guys love soccer. Did you know that the Y is starting a soccer program in a couple of weeks? Maybe you guys should join it together and experience that together. So with these friendship pairings, what we wanted to do to help those friendships flourish and foster them is to launch walking clubs in the 4, what ended up being 5 branches that participated in this project with us. So, you know, we know that 1 in 5 individuals are neurodiverse, and at Old Colony, we want to make sure that our membership base and our program base reflects that ratio. Right, and our goal with the walking club is we wanted to have that ratio, right? We wanted to engage at least 50 participants in our walking clubs, 10 being neurodiverse, 40 being neurotypical. We knew that those exact numbers are not realistic, but that's what we were striving for. So you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, that was our marketing flyer, and our tagline, the Y, better with a friend. It had some scan codes with information, and it led to the Pathways to Friendship videos, which were really helpful in describing to our community partners and our communities what we were trying to do. And just in the bottom right-hand corner, this is just a little slip, which we'll tell you a little bit more about, but we launched walking club parties in those branches, which was really successful.
Awesome. So when we thought about putting all of this into practice, we thought of Nailed It. Do you guys watch TV? Do you know the show? Right. There's a way that you see it unfolding in your head, and it looks like this beautiful unicorn. And then there's a way that it actually unfolds, and that's where the learnings happen, which is more like the realistic unicorn that you see on the side. That's how I would have made it. So the original thinking was we've got these great relationships with our public schools, and we know that in Unified Sports and Best Buddies, there must be clear friendship pairings. And we know that as you approach high school graduation and the age of 22, you're about to face major transition. So how do we really act on the why and sort of our place in the community is we're known to be a safety net, something to fall back on. So we wanted to give these friendship pairings resources and an expanded social network so that they could fall back on the why and all the friendships they had made. Then you have the walk-in club. So how do we catch those in adulthood that might need more friendships? And we thought walking is just one of those really easy entry points into physical activity. It's not super scary. Most people can do it. And it's known to be a really social activity. So what really happened? I think a lot of those things did really happen. But what we learned is that we came in thinking that public schools were going to be like, yes, we know 40 different friendship pairings. We see them all the time in the hallways. And unfortunately, they weren't always easily identified by school personnel. We didn't see that aha moment and that realization of specific pairings that already existed in the schools. We had originally planned on going through athletics and working with Unified Sports and Best Buddies and realized that Unified Sports are scheduled and busing is done by athletics, and then special education and a lot of those other departments do the other work. And to pull everyone together and have the conversation was challenging. It was taking more time than we were planning on. When we did, there was wonderful things that came out of it, but just a little bit more challenging with regards to time frame than we had originally thought. And then the other sort of unfortunate learning that we had is these social interactions and friendships were not always transcending Unified Sports. There was interaction in these programs that existed, but we didn't see a lot of interactions outside when people left that program. And so we really started to have some thinking and aha moments, and we'll get into that in a little bit. In terms of walking clubs, we wanted on the back end to use all of the rich groups and resources and community members that use our Ys all the time and say, of the group of 10 of you that use our Y all the time, can you identify one or two that really like walking? That would be, great to sort of incorporate into our walking club and to break up that pack mentality of we come to the Y as a large group, we use the Y as a large group, we leave. It was very uncomfortable for some people to extract one or two individuals and work with those individual learnings. And so that became a hurdle that we needed to get over. And the intentionality focus with those groups became really, really prominent.
So in terms of outcomes, so we successfully launched our walking clubs in the Easton, Middleborough, and Stoughton branches, and we're going to launch in East Bridgewater and Plymouth later this month. This is the Easton launch party right on the right-hand side. I love all those photos. So we're very excited about that. So we have 6 friendship pairings right now that have developed. Our initial target age was those that were in high school, that were transitioning to college, that were transitioning to employment, those that are the age of 22 that see resources and programs dwindle as they get older. And our initial pairings, we were really shocked, they were middle schoolers, right? So in talking with these families and these individuals, we quickly realized that it starts younger, and in talking with them, the middle schoolers schoolers and the high schoolers right now, they missed a very essential part of social emotional learning and socialization during COVID, during shutdown when they were at home. So we were, while we were shocked, we were really thrilled that we could help support these families and individuals by helping pair them with friends. So as Sarah's unicorn cake photo displayed, our timeline was off a little bit. So we had started this process. Our goal was to get every single friendship pairing nailed down by the months of January and February. What we found in talking to individuals and families is that their schedules were already set. They already had their plans in place. Many of them were ready for the springtime, but not necessarily in the winter. So the advantage, and what I think worked out really well, is the fact that spring worked out, the spring timeline was fantastic because that's when we launched our walking club. So it was really perfect timing. Another outcome, we trained 21 friendship facilitators. I want to give a huge shout out to Katie Driscoll, who helped us. Yeah, let's give her a round of applause. Who helped us and guided us with that support for the training. As I had mentioned in our program overview, those friendship facilitators were so important to this project, and we're really hoping that all of the skill sets and the things that they learned transcends past the Y, past the walking clubs, into their schooling and their everyday lives and everyday conversations. So thank you, Katie, for all of that support. And the last outcome, which we were not expecting, we put culture shifts. So as our leadership teams that were working on this project, as we were meeting with our community partners and different organizations, we realized in communicating what we were trying to do that they were not of the same mindset and did not see the same focus or have the same focus on friendships and the importance of friendships between those that are neurodiverse and neurotypical. So what was really interesting is as we had our check-ins for our progress with this project, we were really excited to be at the table with these organizations and start those difficult conversations and help shift those mindsets to change. And we know it takes a village to change, right? So we were excited to be the organization for those community partners to help do that.
Awesome. So again, shout out to Katie Driscoll. There was many meetings that, yes, I'm doing it. So there was many meetings where we have a lot of people that are very passionate about this work, like to work hard, are not afraid to roll up sleeves, but were super hard on themselves with regards to sticking to our original timeline, making sure that we were on top of things. But Katie reminded us consistently, you're doing fine, and let's look at all of the other aha moments that we're learning, right? So we thank you for that. Friendships between individuals in the young age groups, again, largest provider of childcare. These friendships happen organically all the time in those 0 through 5-year-olds. They go to youth basketball and they don't think of having a friend with an intellectual disability. It's just their friend Sean. And all of the quotes that we heard with regards to that, we realized very quickly that the Y is the place that brings friendships together at a very young age, and how do we start to identify, train our staff around it, and bring those up through? And maybe we change and flip the script a little bit, and we're populating unified sports with authentic friendships that have been in place for years that get to explore athletic opportunity together. So there was really good learnings in that regard. I think it's really important to tell you, or have Darcy tell you, a story about individuals in our branch that really illustrates what's going on day to day.
Awesome. So these two individuals over here, so they are from my Easton Y branch. So this is Chris and Ben. They are two individuals. They're in their early 30s now. So they actually met in preschool. They were best friends in preschool. They were separated when they went to 2 different kindergartens. They attended a Y fundraising event. It was the Harvest Road Race. They were able to reconnect. They bonded over the fact that they love long distance running. They love working out. So then they signed up for another YMCA fundraiser, which was our spin-a-thon, which you can see they're giving each other a high five. I don't know anyone that can high five on a spin bike, but they did it. So what turned into YMCA events then turned into them meeting at the Y every week to go for a run, or they would work out, they would go in the pool, which then turned into them going to the Red Sox games. It turned into them going to each other's birthday parties. And my favorite photo is the one on the bottom right. So Ben had his first child, and they asked Christopher to be the godfather, which was a really amazing moment. So, and we are asking ourselves, how do we continue to create friendship pairings just like this at our Y in our community?
Awesome. Oop, if we could go back, sorry. Yes. Awesome. So I think we've identified that we have environments that create friendship pairings, right? And we really want to continue with the training we have in place. We know that it's important. We started with Lisa Drennan and did some inclusion trainings for our onboarding processes, just so that everyone that works at the front desk thought of inclusion the same way, right? When you ask people what does inclusion mean to you, you get quite a few different answers. So we thought we needed to really even the playing field and agree upon that definition. We saw commitment all the way from our CEO, who has a sound chip, a soundbite on those videos, through our volunteer boards, and all the way through the staff with regards to, it's not a box we're checking, this is something we're committed to all the time. We're making space for conversations, and we know that the Y, I think the statistic is 80% of the U.S. population lives within 5 miles of a Y. So the Y, the Mass Alliance is here, represented by Caitlin. Hello, Caitlin. And I think that all of the learnings that we have as a teaching Y and a partner to all other Mass Ys, it's really important for us to share these learnings and see if we can extend those learnings across the Commonwealth, across the nation, and all continue to learn from one another, because we do talk a lot at the Y and learn quite a bit from one another. We realize that the Y, people look to the Y to help them make friends. And that's easy when you're young, right? When you're middle school, when you're high school, it gets infinitely harder. And sometimes it can feel very like, hey, Darcy, meet Sarah, and maybe we're vibing or maybe we're not. And to force it at a certain point becomes really artificial and not super authentic. By the way, we get along great. But I think that we really realized as an aha moment, we need to put a lot more thought into making these spaces and working through these friendships. I'll skip through a lot of the others, but there's a board member from the League School who started working on a neurodiversity in employment incubator project. He introduced us to Spectrum Empowerment Project, it was a screening and t-shirt company with all of its employees having autism, and we started making really intentional decisions. When we make the t-shirts, can I volunteer you to hold up a t-shirt? I forgot to bring them. We made the t-shirts for the walk-in clubs, and they made them for us, and they gave us a million different demo t-shirts. On the back it says, you never know where your first step will take you, but it's always better with a friend. So really, thank you. It's really something that speaks to our general membership population, but certainly I think as we can populate those necessary ratios. And now we've got a vendor that we can use for everything, which is super exciting for us. They're in our system, they're ready to go. So what is next? What I want to just bring attention to is this text, and you don't have to read it, I'll read it for you, but that is a questionnaire. As we said, we were slower to get those friendship pairings up and running than we thought. This is from our first and second friendship pairings. The first was a group of middle schoolers, and because of zip code, for the first time ever, they were about to get separated for high school. So we thought high school was a tough transition. That was a really big one. We asked them, what do they think their biggest struggle will be in entering membership together? And what we saw from individuals with neurodiversity was talking and answering questions and confidence to start having conversations. Just that scariness of entering a building with lots going on and lots of people everywhere, having somebody to help you with the confidence to just say hi and make the first step in conversation. That's something we really want to dig into in terms of creating social spaces, making it more comfortable for people to know exactly where they can go for support, have those conversations. And as we train our frontline staff, just say hi, smile, say hi, open up space to have whatever conversation is needed at the moment. So we'll continue with the middle school age group. Darcy and I, even making this presentation, had an aha moment. We have school age programs. They go right through that 5th grade. Then people start working through us in high school. We're not missing the mark with middle schoolers, but we could be more intentional. And what we're seeing through friendship pairings is middle school tends to be where a lot of those friendships formed in childhood tend to drop off. Having twins in high school right now, I can tell you that the friends that they have today are not the friends they had in the 5th grade. So if we can really dive in, and perhaps that's future funding, right? How do we look at the middle school age people and see how we can make a more impactful impact there? I think that we are working with AdaptX with regards to our trainers and giving them specific training and working with people with physical and intellectual disabilities. We've entered into a cohort with Ys from Milwaukee, Granite Y from New Hampshire, and a few Ys from across Massachusetts to say, let's give our trainers the confidence that they need to be a trusted partner so that people know when they come to the Y, people are confident working with people with intellectual and physical disabilities. They're excited. They are working on individualized goals. And we're breaking from that sort of pack mentality that we often see. I think I've said a lot. We just added images of things that happen organically. We've got so many Special Olympics groups and group homes and just individuals and families that we know and have so many learnings that we've taken from this experience. Thanks to DDS and thanks to the ARC of Massachusetts for this funding. We've learned quite a bit. We will continue learning and we can't wait to do it.